Hello students, welcome to class. Our topic for this lesson is hire purchase, instrumental payment, and in this class we'll be discussing the meaning of hire purchase, the features of hire purchase, we'll be looking at parties to hire purchase, the merit and demerits of hire purchase, and lastly we started off with the meaning of hire purchase. Hire purchase is a method of financing of the fixed asset to be purchased on a future date. The main features of hire purchase are: 1. The hire purchaser becomes the owner of the asset after paying the last installment. 2. Every installment is treated as hire charge for using the asset. 3. The hire purchaser can use the asset right after making the agreement with the hire vendor. Now let's take a look at parties to a hire purchase contract. The first party we have is the seller, that is the owner of the asset, who contracts a financial institution to finance the hire purchase deal submitted by him. We also have the customer. The customer selects the goods and expresses his desire to acquire them on hire purchase. The dealer arranges for a full set of documents to be completed to make a hire purchase agreement with the customer. And lastly, we have. Now let's move on to the merits or advantages of hire purchase. We have 1. Convenience in payment. The buyer greatly benefits from this arrangement as he has to make the payment in installments. This system is greatly advantageous to people having limited income. 2. We have increased volume of sales. This system attracts more customers as the payment is to be made in easy installments. This leads to increase in volume of sales. 3. We have increased profit. Large volume of sales ensures increased profit to the seller. And 4. We have encourages saving. Hire purchase encourages thrift amongst the buyers who are forced to save some portion of their income for the payment of the installments. This inculcates the habit of saving amongst the people. Next, we have helpful for small traders. This system is helpful for small manufacturers and traders. They can purchase machineries and other equipment on instrumental basis and in turn sell to the customers, buying and charging them full price. Number 6, we have earning of interest. The seller gets the installment, which includes original price and interest. The interest is calculated in advance and added to the total installment to be paid by the buyer. And lastly for this class, now let's move on to some of the demerit or disadvantages of hire purchase system. We have 1. Higher price. A buyer has to pay higher prices for the asset purchase, which includes cost of the assets plus interest. The rate of interest in hire purchase is usually high. 2. We have artificial demand. The hire purchase system creates artificial demand for a product. The buyer is tempted to purchase a product even if he does not need it or is able to pay for the product. 3. Heavy risks. The seller runs a heavy risk under the hire purchase system, though he has the right to take back the assets from the defaulting customers. The second-hand goods fetch little price. Now let's take a look at termination of hire purchase. The hire purchase agreement can be terminated or come to an end in any of the following ways. 1. In terms of the agreement. The hire purchase agreement stipulates the circumstances in which the agreement can be terminated. The agreement is generally terminated by return of the goods by the hirer, notice of termination by the owner on account of IRS breach of condition, or notice of termination by the hirer. 2. We have by performance. The hire purchase agreement is terminated by performance on the exercise of the option to purchase the goods by the hirer. 3. We have by renewal. The parties to an agreement may enter into a fresh agreement, terminating the hire purchase agreement earlier, which has not already been terminated. And next we have notice by either party. The hire purchase agreement can be terminated by notice given by either party. Next we have by acceptance of repudiation by other party. An hire purchase agreement is terminated when a party to an agreement renounces its future obligations under the agreement or commits breach of agreement. We have next is by release. When one party to an agreement releases the other party from the performance of the obligations by him under the agreement, the hire purchase agreement comes to an end. Lastly, we have by frustration. When performance of the agreement becomes impossible by reason of some act or event occurring subsequent to the formation of the agreement, the hire purchase agreement comes to an end. E.g., when the goods are destroyed during the currency of the hire purchase agreement without negligence on the part of the hirer, the hire purchase agreement comes to an end. And lastly, and before we go, let's take a quick exercise. Question 1. Define hire purchase. Question 2. What are the features of hire purchase? Question 3. Explain the rules of the different parties in a hire purchase. With this, we've come to the end of this class. Thank you for watching. See you in our next class. Bye bye.